Now question C, I'm going to give the answer without too many explanations, and hopefully this will be a bit more clearer. So I know there were two solutions, a positive and a negative one, because any square number when you square root it, or any number when you square root it, there will be a positive and a negative answer. So when I square root both sides, one of the answers will be x, and square root of 49 will be 7, and just copy the sign down. This is the positive answer and the easy bit. But remember, there will also be a negative answer, so x and negative 7, and this time all you do is you change the sign around, you flip the sign, so x has to be greater than minus 7. So these are our two parts. So now we can bring this together. Whenever we have this sign in the question, it means that there will be the same section of a graph. You will not have two separate bits. So this bit here tells me x has to be greater than minus 7. So always start off with the smallest number. The smallest number here is minus 7. So I'm going to start off minus 7. And I can see that x has to be, make it a bit more clear that this is number 7 we're talking about. So x has to be greater than minus 7. This is what this bit is saying. X has to be greater than minus 7. So I can write it like this. And this bit is telling me that x has to be less than 7. So all I have to do is just write it like this. And that's my answer to the question. So this is a solution. Now if I draw the number line, I can see minus 7 here. So that means I'll put minus 7 on my number line. Now I can see number 7 here, so that means I'll put 7 on my number line. So there is no equal sign. So draw a circle there. Draw a circle there. So x has to be greater than minus 7. So I'm going to start off heading that way. And x has to be less than 7. So I'm going to head in that way. And that is the answer. This is how you show that on the number line. And remember, whenever x square is like that, less than whatever this bit is, you'll have a number line that joins up like this, and you'll have an answer that looks like this. If, however, you have x square and it's like this, x square is greater than whatever is here, then you're more not likely to get number line that looks like this, like that. This middle bit here will be missing, and the answer will be x is greater than something, comma, x is less than something else. So this is how you show the answers. So you've got to remember these scenarios. So because you can see x square is greater than something, this is what this question is. Remember, the number line will look like this, something like that. Okay, that missing bit here will be missing, and the solution will have x something and x something like that. We'll have two bits to the solution. Now to start the question off, so there's two solutions to get the x by itself. We have to square root both sides. So whenever you square root both sides, you'll get x and 1, because square root of 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So just copy the sign down. But don't forget, square root of 1 is also negative 1, because negative 1 squared is minus 1 times minus 1, which is just 1. So there are two possible answers. The easy answer, the positive answer, lies here. There's also the negative answer, so x and minus 1. Remember, you have to flip the sign. so that is like this. And how do you show that on the number line? So because I can see 1, you write 1. Because it's minus 1, you see minus 1. Now this bit here tells me x has to be greater than 1 or equal to it, so you shade it in and it goes that way. And to the right, because it's greater, so this bit here tells me that x has to be greater than or equal to or greater than 1, and this bit here tells me x has to be equal to or less than minus 1. This should be minus 1. So it's equal to or less than, so we'll shade that in to get minus 1. And that's the answer. Now remember, we have said this additional explanation. We said that x squared has to be greater than 1. So let's just check. We think x can be any number less than minus 1. So let's just check. What about minus 5? Minus 5 squared, is it equal to or greater than 1? Well, of course it is, because minus 5 squared is 25. You have to use those brackets in the calculator, otherwise you get the wrong answer, which is negative 25. So in order to get the right answer, you have to open bracket, press negative 5, close bracket, and square it. So is 25 greater than or equal to 1? Yes, it is. So therefore our answer is correct. So these are the two answers, and then we've shown it on the number line too. Now to question E. Again, remember, because x is greater than or equal to something else, the answer will have two bits to it. One bit will go like this, and the other bit will go like this. This middle bit here will be missing. So let's jump into the question. To get the x on its own, I'm going to have to square root both sides. So x and square root of 9 is 3, and we'll just copy the sign down. So x has to be equal to or greater than 3. The other possible answer was, we could have done square root of 9 could have been minus 3. So again, x could have been minus 3. And this time we're careful about the sign. Because we times by minus 1 here, okay, you have to flip the sign. So it needs to go like this. But these are the two answers. So I'm going to draw my letter x, or write my letter x here. And I can see minus 3 is here. So I'm going to copy the minus 3 down. So minus 3 has to be greater than or equal to x. So x has to be less than or equal to minus x. This is what this bit here tells me. Oops, I done it wrong there. We should have put this sign the other way around. So if you look at the x on this one, the pointy bit is to x. So it should have been like this. So x has to be less than or equal to minus 3 for this to work. Moving on to answer, this is one of our answers and this is the other part of our answer. So now I have to draw it on the number line. So I can see here there will be a 3 bit. I can see from here there will be a minus 3 bit. So this bit here tells us that x has to be equal to or greater than 3. So we draw the circle and we shade it in because there was equal sign, and because greater we're going to go that way. And this bit here tells me x has to be equal to or less than minus 3. So because of the equal sign, we're going to shade it in, and the arrow is going to go this way. And that is the answer to question E. Now, so remember, whenever, like in this question, if x is equal to or then x another number, you will have like this 2 bits, and you'll have the middle bit missing, and your answer will also be in 2 parts like this whenever you're in a situation where x is greater than. Now later on, when you've done quadratic equations, it will make more sense, or when you can draw quadratic graphs, it will make more sense. For time being, you just have to follow it. Or you can go and watch the playlist on drawing quadratic graphs or quadratic graphs inequalities. I think that will make it easier to understand.